Hello, how you guys doing? Good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is that you're watching us. Welcome, welcome. Today we are going to be talking about the right questions, right? The questions to ask your doctor about postpartum recovery. Yes, we are live. I want you to share this live video with your friends, share with your family. We're not gender biased, okay, because this information has to go round. It has to get to everybody has to come on board. So please share this video with all your friends. So I'll dive right into it because my guest is here. I have Dr. Phoebe Ajayi. I am just going to get her in. Dr. Phoebe, please, can you send me a request? Let me see if I can see you. Let me just invite you. See you. Dr. Phoebe is our guest.
Hi.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. So let me just share a bit about what we are doing here at pregnancy at our page here. So I had a condition called eclampsia, not preeclampsia, because it wasn't during pregnancy. It was actually postpartum. So my blood pressure was okay all through pregnancy, but postpartum, about 2 weeks later, I developed high blood pressure. And so I realized that when I started doing the research, it was actually a thing that most people, moms, didn't know about. Know that they were hypertensive after, and all of those things. So we're just creating like a support group so that we can help moms to recover from it. I've actually I had the condition again in 20. I had it first 2015 and had it again in 2018. So that's exactly what happened. And my face is looking funny with this filter. Oh my god. Okay, so I'll just leave it like that. So it just gets to be let's carry on with this weird conversation. But anyways, that's what this whole program is about. This whole page, we are trying to encourage women to just I know that the postpartum period is really a tough period, starting from just having your baby up until, like I always say, postpartum means every woman, as long as you've had your child, you're in that postpartum phase. So there's no timeline. You're not like after my child is 5 years, I'm still struggling with trying to lose weight after. So there's no timeline. So we're just trying to let off that stereotype that the industry has placed, where the industry has placed women. So we are bringing people who think alike, who have that same view about this, how the lifestyle is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a lifestyle. Fitness is supposed to be a lifestyle, and everything, and embracing it one step at a time. Okay, so that's I just wanted to share that so that our viewers that will be watching the replay can also understand what it's about. So here we have our Dr. Phoebe, a wonderful mom of two. I remember, I think the first time I saw you was in John Obidi's group on Facebook. Yes, on Facebook. So that's where we first met. And I joined your community on Facebook, and it just clicked for me because I felt like, yeah, this is someone that is actually talking the way we need to hear these things. We're so used to this snapback culture, and are not taking their time, and so it's stressing them mentally, and they don't even know it. So I really want you to just talk about what are the things, like a woman just gives birth now. What exactly is she supposed to know? What exactly is she supposed to know? Is it okay for her to know about her body? Is it okay for her to know what has just happened to her and all of those things? Please, let's just go right ahead.
Okay, yeah, thanks for that wonderful intro. I think generally when I talk to people, I think because especially now we have so much information available at our fingertips, ignorance is not an excuse anymore. I like to tell people that the best way to recover best after having a baby is to start preparing even before you get pregnant. So when I'm talking about preparing before you get pregnant, I'm talking about optimizing your nutrition. I'm talking about getting into exercise. I'm talking about arming yourself with the right knowledge. Because when you get pregnant, you realize that there's so much unsolicited advice that pregnant women and freshly postpartum women get. And if you don't have your knowledge base right, you get thrown by a lot of myths out there and a lot of outdated information. So start by preparing, getting yourself right, getting the knowledge right, eating right, because pregnancy and the postpartum period will take a lot of nutrition from you. So when you're pregnant, your baby is taking all the nutrients they need from you. When you're breastfeeding, your baby is taking all the nutrients they need from you. When you're recovering, if you've had a cesarean section, for instance, or even if you've had a vaginal delivery, your body is going through that reparative process and is going to take a lot of calories, a lot of nutrients. So optimize your nutrition even before you get pregnant, and exercise, like I said, because when you're pregnant, that's not the time you want to start going into strenuous exercise. And part of this snapback culture out there is because, of course, when you're a bit younger, it's easier for you to lose weight, because your metabolism is quite high. But as you get older and maybe you get pregnant, you have a baby, of course, you gain some weight when you're pregnant and then you have the baby. And some of us find that we're still holding on to those pounds. That's when you find somebody that has never exercised before will say, oh, yes, my baby is 2 weeks old. Now I want to start exercising. I'm going to snap back. It doesn't work that way. So you need to build a healthy foundation so that when you've had the baby, then you have something to work with.
Great. So you're telling us now that we should start from before, before before having our babies, right? So
Yeah,
for the single
definitely.
ladies, that are here, that information is for you. So get your diet right, get your eating right, and it's not really about wanting to take slim teas and all of those things. It's about
Mm,
the lifestyle. It's about eating more vegetables. It's about eating fruits. Really, this thing is very, very simple. It's so simple that it's just like salvation. It's so simple and free, and people just take it for granted. I'm like,
yeah,
oh, I want it the hard way. I want the hard
yeah.
one. Give me the hard one. So it's that simple. It's that simple. And the reason why people this industry is like a multi-billion dollar industry is because there are a lot of people that are feasting on your ignorance. It's so simple that they will just camouflage whatever they want you to hear, and they will sell it back to you, and you pay so much money for it. And meanwhile, what you need is just these simple things. Just eat well, move well, and all of those things. So for those of us that can't, that didn't start exercising well, that didn't start eating well, what can we now do? How can we repair this foundation? And the Bible says, I'm a Christian, though, so those of us that are watching, I will be referring a lot to the Bible. The Bible says, if the foundation be destroyed, what can the
What
righteous
can the
do?
righteous do?
Now, now that the foundation is one kind, so what can we do to help that mom that didn't probably start eating right during her single days? What can she do now that she has a baby? Or
Yes.
before we do the one that has a baby, let's do the one that is pregnant now. What can she do so that she does not gain so much weight, or that she stays as healthy as possible?
I think the same applies whether she's pregnant now or she's recently had the baby. I think that for one, a lot of us are not really clued in when it comes to what we eat. So when I teach sometimes, I'll do a side by side comparison, right? And on one side, I'll have a plate of, a decent size of pounded yam and a decent amount of soup, mixed with all the meat and all the
Yeah,
medes, now. And then
yeah,
on the other side, I'll have a plate of McDonald's burger. What's it called now? a Big Mac, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and a pack of fries. And I'll ask people, which do you think has more calories? And oftentimes they'll say it's the Big Mac, because we know that Big Mac, it's burger, it's fries, it's junk food. But in the two slices that I put side by side, based on the weight and based on the portion, the pounded yam actually has more calories
Mm.
than the Big Mac. And the pounded yam has the same amount of trans fat as the Big Mac and fries. So because some of us, I know people that eat eba or pounded yam every day, you know,
Mm-hmm.
each
Mm-hmm.
plate of pounded yam with that amount of soup and everything. It's just unfortunate that I can't share
With
the
the
slide
oil,
here
the
with the
oil and
oils
everything.
and everything, the fatty meat, the what they call it, the intestines and everything. By the time you put all those
Uh-huh.
things together,
Yeah.
that plate alone is already close to 1,500 calories. And how much is your caloric requirement every day? So imagine if you're eating that kind of food every day, day in, day out, you're going to be in a caloric surplus all the time. And what's your body going to do with it? It's going to store it as fat. So first of all, we need to be mindful of those things. Have an idea. I'm not saying everybody needs to calorie count. I don't calorie count, but you need to be aware of what you're actually putting in your body. And again, when we're making up our plate, I think some of us have this habit. We make up a carb heavy plate. So for instance, if we're going to eat, we'll have this big bowl of rice, and then we'll have a little bit of stew, and then we'll have one tiny piece of fish. Whereas
Yeah.
you should constitute your plate the other way. So you should have more of vegetables, then your protein, and then the carbs should be less. So just making those minor changes. I mean, like I like to say, I like to think about adding things. I like to think about gains, not losses, because I think even psychologically, we're wired to be more geared towards gaining things than losing things. So if you want to work on those things, gain more vegetables with each meal. Start from where you are rather than piling up the rice or piling up the eba or whatever. Say, okay, with every meal, I'm going to take some veggies. Maybe it might be a salad, it might just be a carrot, it might just be a cucumber. Just make up your mind that with every meal, I'm adding this. With every meal, I'm adding some fruit. Just like that. So focus more on vegetables and proteins rather than high amount of fat and carbs. And again, with exercise, I love walking so much. I think walking is the most underrated exercise. After I had my first baby, I lost all the weight just walking alone. I wasn't doing anything, fancy. Walk, go out there and walk. Walking is free. We have good weather most of the time in Nigeria, especially. Go outside, walk. Take your children along, if you have children, or if you can go alone by yourself, at least that would be some time for you to, clear your thoughts, listen to yourself or whatever, relax and everything. You can take a walk. Or if you don't like walking, what exercise do you like? There must be something that you like. Is it dancing? Is it squatting? Is it hula hoops? Is it swimming? Is it tennis? There must be something you like. So if you're doing something you enjoy, you're deriving pleasure from it rather than seeing it as another chore that you have to do. So it doesn't become a burden, it becomes something that you enjoy and something that you look forward to. And at the same time, it has wonderful benefits for your mental health and for your body.
Great, great, great. So it's about still goes down to eating well and starting where you are. It's just like
Yeah,
starting where you are, and it's one. It's like it's been my mantra since the beginning of this year. Start where you are. Use
start
what you
where you
have.
are.
It's really that easy. So for those people that still, how can we help people to that still think that it's so hard? How can we break it down for to them, to make them see how simple it is? And maybe because of the culture of quick fixes and all of that. How do we help people to actually see this thing as a process, that it will take time? Give yourself time. um how can we do that? How can we really do that?
Hmm, that's a very good question. How can we do that? I think that I think it's like you said earlier, it's a lifestyle, right? So I think generally when we have goals for ourselves, we normally think about like financial, career wise, and maybe spiritual, if you're religious. And I think that putting your health on the list is something that is very important. Putting your health, putting your family, for instance, when you're visualizing your future, yes, you want to be at this point in your career in 10 years' time or whatever, you want to be earning X amount of money in 5 years' time. what do you want your family to look like in 5 years' time? What do you want yourself to look like in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, whatever your goals are? So I think because when you put it in your mind that okay, in 10 years' time, for instance, let's say I'm just about to go into medical school, right? And I say, okay, in 10 years' time, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a family physician, I want to be this and that. If I wake up tomorrow and I'm not yet a doctor, I
Mm.
wouldn't give up on myself because I
Right.
know that I'm walking the path, right? I've put in my medical school application. So I know that by next year, when I get admission, I'll start my medical degree. So every day I know that I'm working towards that. So today, all that I might do in contribution to that big goal is just to put in that application. But if I don't put in that application, in 10 years' time, I'll still be where I am. So I think
Yeah.
it's just putting things in perspective. Yes, this is where we're going towards, and these are the little steps that we need to take on our journey to that place. So every day that I wake up and I haven't achieved all my goals yet, I'm not discouraged because I know what I'm working towards. I just need to take the steps that I need to take today to be on the way.
That is such a fantastic analogy. Like, you know, having that goal, having that goal that you want to be a medical doctor. So just substitute it as, I want to be, I want to lose 10 kg in the next 6 months. You know, make it easy on yourself, and so that even though you've not lost, or you've lost maybe like 2 kg, or even half that your goal, you are not losing sight of the end goal. You are still like, I will still lose this weight, I will still
Yeah.
get where I'm going to. I just need to keep moving, I just need to keep it moving.
Now that you mentioned weight loss, I actually say to people like this, if I'm dealing with somebody who's struggling to lose weight, they might be like, oh, for the past, I don't know, for the past month, I've been doing this, I've been doing that, and I haven't lost any weight. And I say, but you didn't gain any because you've
Mm-hmm.
been gaining steadily up till this point. So
Yeah.
even if you didn't lose weight, the fact that you didn't gain much or you didn't gain any, means that you're making some progress. So just stick with it and don't despair. I think probably because of the age that we're in, I mean, Amazon Prime, I placed an order this morning, in the afternoon, it's in my house, fast food and all that. It can be
Yeah.
quite difficult for us to work at something, especially something that is slow. You don't see the changes from day to day. There are some people that find taking progress pictures helpful because sometimes you might not really have gained that much weight because I'll talk about this lady that I worked with, for instance. She had a big tummy, the mom tom, and she was big and she wanted to lose weight, and she started to eat more healthy. She started to exercise a bit, and over a period of a couple of months she lost what's the kg equivalent, like 3 kg in about 2 months or 3 months. She lost only 3 kg. But when she put her before and after pictures side by side, it was so striking because her tummy had practically disappeared. So she
Mm-hmm.
had gained some muscle tone. So her body composition had changed. So where she didn't lose much weight, but the difference was so clear physically. And of course, when she measured her abdomen and whatever,
Yeah.
I don't know. So some people find taking progress pictures helpful, to just put things in perspective. Another thing that I especially really like, I'm not really into progress pictures, but if it works for you, hey, go ahead. But what I really, really like is functionality. When I work with people, I like to talk about functionality. What can you do now that you
Mm-hmm.
couldn't do before? When I see patients in my clinic, sometimes we have conversations like this. Sometimes because they are eating more mindfully, because they're exercising now, they can breathe easier. They've stopped snoring. I can
Yeah.
now carry my baby up the stairs without having back pain. So again, functionality, for me, functionality trumps appearance. So what can you do now that you couldn't do before? So when you're keeping those things in mind, it helps you to just put things in perspective.
That is so sound. Like, it's so, and it's out. It's like, it's there. It's there. You can breathe well. You can, you can squat and pick up something, as little as those things are.
Yeah.
When after birth, right, after childbirth, you see that moms are battling with back pain, and all the, and when your body begins to improve because you're eating better, you're walking better, you take for granted these things, and that's why I'm
Yeah.
such a big fan of being very mindful, like documenting and journaling your journey. Like write out the things that you are able to do now that you couldn't do before, or even when you start the journey, like this is what I'm walking, this is where I am. I can't bend, I can't squat, I can't do this, I can't run around with my children, I
Yeah.
can't, you know, write those things out at the beginning, so that when you, like 3 4 months, 5 6 months down the line, when you're able to do these things, you don't take for granted the the benefits and the progress that you have made just because the scale did not move,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Absolutely.
you don't want to be able, you don't want to just fix your mind on that scale. You don't want to fix your mind on, I love progress pictures, by the way.
Yeah,
I love,
I bet you do.
I love, and I love the fact that, apart from just progress pictures anyway, it's just like documenting your measurements, like you're taking measurements of your abdomen, your waist, your hip, and all those little things that people don't like to, take into consideration. And when you say like, oh, my weight is, in fact, I tell people, throw the scale away. I don't the only reason why you should take your take your measurement, or you take your know your weight, is to just have an idea of what you are weighing at the beginning, so that down the road you'll be able to, you can be able to see your progress. So if
Mm.
there's anybody that has questions, okay, yeah. D Morot says progress pictures, absolutely. So if you have any questions for Dr. Phoebe, she's here. Please let us know what questions you have for her. Um, while we are waiting for any questions, I was trying to send some messages to the people on my contact list, so that they are aware and not tell me that later I did not know that the time had, so I'll just
Yeah.
try and do that while you talk about your book, After Birth. Dr. Phoebe just wrote a masterpiece. I know that it's going to be a masterpiece, because I from the because I joined your will I call it a launch now that you did on your
Right.
on
Yeah.
your on
Yeah,
your
you can call it
Facebook
that.
group. Yeah. So I see that you really talked about the wholeness, and
Yeah.
I'm big on wholeness, because my community and the brand that what we stand for is for women to be intentional about the health of their spirits, their soul, and their bodies. I believe so much that, and I also believe that the woman's healing will not just come from her; it will come from people that are around her, that can help her heal during this, um, period, postpartum period. So I would really like you to just talk about your book, and yeah, let me get.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks. So yeah, so the book is called After Birth, Postpartum Recovery of the Body and Mind. And I just basically put it together because I mean, like you mentioned, I've been working in this area for about 4 years now. After I had my first child and all the things that I experienced, and then just relating with a lot of women and realizing that hey, there's a deficit in the knowledge out there, and I just started trying to fill that gap and trying to create more awareness from a professional angle as well. So I've just been working in this area for the past 4 years, and I just decided to put all my experience down. Especially, I think the way society is now is a bit different from the way it was back then. So back then we had more of this community spirit. It takes a village, and everybody was chipping in. But now there's a lot of people doing it on their own. Like me, for instance, I mean, I live in the UK now. We came here, we didn't have any family here or anything like that. So it's just putting down my experiences, both from a professional angle and a personal angle, just saying, hey, this is what to expect, after having a baby. This is how to optimize your recovery after having a baby. I talk about a whole bunch of things. I talk about how to ensure you're getting sleep, how to cope with breastfeeding. I talked about many of the postpartum complications that can occur, what to do to prevent them, what to do if you develop any of them. I talk about postpartum depression and other mental health issues that can arise. I talked about exercise, contraception, returning to work, everything basically about postpartum recovery. Like I'm holding your hand as you're walking your postpartum journey. So yeah, that's what the book is about in a nutshell, and it's available on Amazon. The link is in my bio, and I can put the link in the comments afterwards. But yeah, that's basically all about it. Because there's always a lot of when you talk to a lot of women, they're like, "Oh, I never knew this. Oh, why didn't
Yeah.
anyone tell me this? Oh, I didn't know about clogged ducts. I didn't know about mastitis. I didn't expect to be leaking urine after having a baby. Why is my tummy still big? How can I go into exercise? How can I bounce back?" There's so many questions, and all of these are answered in my book.
Awesome, awesome. I love the fact that um we're now we are thinking community now. We're thinking wholeness. So we're not just thinking of, oh, the woman has just had a baby, let's all focus on the baby.
Yes, I'm so
And
glad. I'm so glad you said that because a lot of, even like sometimes from a professional perspective, because I'm a doctor, so I kind of see it from both sides. I see it as a doctor and I see it as a mom myself. Sometimes women, especially, I think because we're so nurturing and we're so sacrificial, sometimes we feel like, okay, the baby's here now. It's all about the baby, look after the baby. Don't worry about me. I'm like, hey, you're important,
yeah,
you are valid,
yeah,
we
yeah,
you need to be alive, you need to be healthy, you need to be strong for this baby, especially if you're breastfeeding. So if you have any issues, talk to your doctor. Yes, we're interested in the baby, but we're also interested in you.
yeah,
Sometimes, when we do the postpartum check, the 6 to 8 week postpartum check, we check the baby, we check the mom, and oftentimes when I ask the mom, how are you doing, they say, oh, I'm fine. I'm like, no, really, how are you? And some of them will break down and say, oh, I think I'm depressed, or I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling with that. I think that automatically, you just become used to putting your child first. And for some of us, we feel guilty when we're thinking about ourselves. We feel like we're being selfish, but no, you matter too. You're important. We need you to be strong, we need you to be healthy, your family needs you to be healthy, and society needs you to be healthy as well. So please, moms, I like to say to moms, your postpartum recovery is as important as your prenatals. So when we're pregnant, most of us will not, shun antenatal care. We'll go for our
yeah,
antenatal
yeah,
appointments. We'll take our supplements. We'll do
yeah,
this and that. If they say, oh, I think you're diabetic, oh, you see people that love sugar, they will cut out sugar the
yeah,
moment they're told they're diabetic, and it can affect the baby.
yeah,
So when you've had the baby, you also need to recover, you
yeah.
also need to look after yourself. So your postpartum care is as important as your antenatal care. And another thing that I like to say to moms is this: oftentimes, for why your postpartum care is important, two major reasons. Number one, many of us will not stop at one child. We would like to have 2 children, 4 children, 11 children. Some people,
Planned or
some people have
non-planned.
11 children in this day and age. I'm like, on purpose. So yes, I know some people love big families. So yes. So imagine if you had, after your first child, you didn't look after yourself, you didn't recover properly, and then you go on to have the second one, and then you're going to have the third one. By the time you're having your fourth pregnancy, you will be unwell. You won't be strong. You might be ill. You might be susceptible to all sorts of complications. So that's why it's very important to make sure you look after yourself after having a baby. The second reason why I like to stress postpartum care is this: many of us, we have children in the prime of our life. So
Yeah,
many of us will have children in our 20s, 30s. Currently, the life expectancy in the UK is what, 86 or something like that. So imagine if you have children in your 20s, you're going to live for another 60 years after
yeah,
having your children. So if you don't deal with those issues in that period, imagine having chronic complications for 60 years. I mean, come on, you don't need that. You don't need that. You don't want that in your life. So, you know, act now to prevent future complications.
Um,
Yes, somebody say hi, 11K. Man, people are doing things. Some people like having children. They're
yeah,
like,
people
I'm
just
on my
like,
12th child. I'm like, okay, sis.
yeah, go sis, well done. We support you, but just take care of yourself while at it,
Exactly.
right? You know, so I love the fact that we are having this conversation, and we're getting to tell moms that to it's okay to want what you want, but then just take care of yourself. It's okay to love catering and nesting, because that's the natural instinct for women. You just like to nest. You just want to take care of every other person but yourself.
Hmm.
It's okay to have that. And that's the idea that I have for this community, is that we get to have this um this sisterhood that is watching, where we're watching not just for your physical fitness, but also your mind. Like, how are you doing? How are you
Mm-hmm.
pacing yourself? How are you? We're going to have like water challenge. Going to have fruits challenge. You can start where you are. You don't have to say, oh, when you hear this, when you hear these things, right? You are like, oh, the next thing you are asking yourself is that I don't have money for this one. I cannot afford this. I cannot afford that. We're teaching you to start where you are. We are teaching you to use what you have. We are teaching you to just be appreciative of the fact that you're even alive. You can breathe, you can talk, you can walk. That alone should help make you feel like, yes, I've achieved something today. I'm okay today. And also, like you said, about women not feeling guilty about taking care of themselves. I want to be able to partner with spa, the owners of spas, right?
Okay.
To give to like make it natural, make it normal for women that are just giving birth to go on a spa date. Like, just go
Yeah.
and just have this massage and take care of yourself. Like, just lie on your belly and feel good. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and I've talked with some women, and they said that they didn't like the way their teeth is, after, during, or while they were pregnant, and they want to do something about it. So writing out all those things, and you know getting a dentist to come and assess you and just say, okay, what can you begin to do now? Everything still boils down to eating healthy, but then you want to have a community where you're saying, okay, this is where I am now, and this is where I really want to be. I want to, feel comfortable in my skin again. I want to feel strong in my skin again. And you have that community of women that are around you, and just, cheering you on the way. So that's the idea that we have with this community, and we want to get specialists like you, Dr. Phoebe, come talk to us. We'll be having these conversations very soon on our platform. We're going to launch in November, the
Yeah.
first phase of the launch, November 5th. So it's like an NGO, because we know to get professional attention, it costs an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
So we want to be able to have our volunteers, our specialists, just come and just give us a word or two, and just encourage these women, because I just feel like we talk a lot about it, but people are not really doing something
Yeah.
towards. We just talk and we just leave the women and go. But we want to be able to bring these women in, ask them questions, and just take them on this journey. So the reason why we are doing this live is not because I enjoy doing it's not because I enjoy sharing my space, but I really, really just want to do something, and get a lot of my friends that are dentists and pharmacists are all on board. We just want to have women supporting women, the much that we can, and we want people that are going to be committed to their long term growth, long-term, journey. Not We're not, if you're looking for losing weight in 2 minutes, that we are not we're not going to we won't be able to get you in. But we want people that will, at least from like 6 months to onwards, we want those women that will commit to, taking their time and just enjoying the journey. First of all, when you come in, we are going to brainwash you and tell you postpartum is not a 2 month journey, it's not a 5 year journey. It's till you're pregnant again. That's what I
Right.
keep that's
Yeah.
that's what I keep telling people. So even if your child is 20 years, you are still trying to get your body back. You're just trying to get your body, your functionality, like you called it. We're all still trying to build our function. And you never even know what you're capable of even doing. We see older women now. Like, I'm always very thrilled when I see women that are older and very fit, very flexible. That's to tell you the capacity of your body. Your body
Mm.
can do so much more than you ever think. And anytime you wake up, that's your morning. Anytime you decide that, oh, I'm tired of being tired, I'm tired of how I feel. There's this Ernestine. I think she should be hitting almost her 90s now. She started when she was 50
Mm-hmm.
something, right? And now she's in her 80s doing bodybuilding
Yeah.
and all the amazing, amazing stuff. So those are the people that we want to bring into you, want to bring to you. We're going to be bringing people that will encourage women so that they don't feel bad or feel carried away. And we talked about how that the industry is saturated with information. There's like, literally, any woman will be confused or overwhelmed when she is, bombarded left, right. Don't do this. Don't eat this. You know. So I'm going to ask this question: what exactly can this woman do? Okay, a woman that has been bamboozled by different kind of information. What can she do to focus on healing herself, healing postpartum? She has just gotten back from the hospital with her baby, and this there are different packages left, right, center, telling you that you can lose weight and snap back in 2 minutes, in 3 weeks, in 1 month. So what can she do to just stay focused? How would you advise that woman?
Okay. Generally, I think I'm very careful about this topic because of what you've said out there. So many lies and claims out there and things like that. I think generally, on some level, we all know that weight loss, improving body strength, things like that don't happen overnight. We all know on some level, but sometimes we still fall for gimmicks. Maybe we're hoping against hope that this one will be different. But what I want to say is, for weight loss to be sustainable, if you're talking about weight loss specifically, it needs to be gradual, because if you lose the weight overnight, that means you haven't even made any lifestyle changes that can help you sustain the weight loss in the long term. I'll give you an example. We have some people who, they're severely obese. They'll have a gastric bypass, right? This is obesity surgery to reduce the size of the stomach so that they can lose weight. And you see them, they lose weight rapidly, yeah.
Yeah.
And within a year, you'll find that they've lost all the weight, diabetes is gone, hypertension is gone, they've lost it. I don't have the figure to hand, but many of them will go on to gain that weight back, right?
Spend the money again.
Because they don't make that lifestyle change. This is somebody who has had something as extreme as having gastric bypass. So you can imagine, if somebody who has gone through all of that can gain the weight back, how much you that drank one tea or did one thing. Do you understand? So those things oftentimes don't work because they put you in a calorie deficit. If you're just recovering from delivery, your delivery is going to be hindered. It's going to be slow because you're not getting all the nutrients that you need. If you're breastfeeding, it can affect your milk supply. But even if against all odds it manages to work, you will not be able to sustain it long term because you haven't made any lifestyle change. You're going to gain the weight back and even more. Imagine, I've seen one that said like it's called a juicing detox or a juicing fast or something like that, and they have you drink some juices for some weeks, and they say you lose X amount of. Are you going to be drinking juice for the rest of your life? The very first time you eat eba, all the weight, all the weight will come back. So those things are gimmicks. We all know on some level, but sometimes we just don't want to, go through, and it can be hard. I won't lie, it can be hard. And I'm gonna make a detour here and talk about the men, because I know, yes, we're talking about postpartum recovery and we've been talking about the women and all, but I find that when we're talking about this topic, it can just seem like, oh God, that's one more thing I have to do. As a woman, you're already stretched, you're doing so many things. And when we're talking about eating healthy and this and that, I'm like, oh God, another thing I have to do. Men, partners, husbands, your wives. I'm gonna preach now. I'm getting on my soapbox now.
Yes, please go ahead.
Your wife's postpartum recovery is important. It should be your priority. Just like, for instance, when she was pregnant, you would make sure, oh, honey, you need to get to your antenatal appointment. I'll drop you off. I'll take you there. Likewise, her postpartum recovery is also your responsibility. You should make it a priority. If she says, oh, to get, back to my level of strength, to get stronger, I need to walk every afternoon, for instance, or every evening, I need to walk 30 minutes. Make it happen. What can you do? Support her. I think oftentimes, well, I don't know how the dynamic is for each individual, but it's like women are the primary parent and the man is the accessory parent. But no, you both made those children together. So if she needs to exercise, it's important. If she needs to go on a walk or something, you can hold the baby, make the dinner, shower the kids, whatever, partnership. Don't let it be like, oh, she has to do this and do that and do that and do that. Please, not in this day and age. Okay? Make your wife's postpartum recovery your priority as well. I'm getting off the soapbox now.
I love it. I love it. I love it because it's one thing I kept telling my team members, like, please don't just share this thing to just women. Share it to the men too. Share it to every person, every family member, moms, because I'm very particular about the environment. There are sometimes women come back from the hospital and the environment is literally toxic. Like you see family members, you see people, everybody giving us unsolicited
There is a
opinions.
chapter in my, if I have a chapter called Omugwo, which deals with all of this, and I have a chapter called Visitors. So
Thank you.
I go into all of
Thank you
this.
so much for please, everybody, go and get After Birth. Please get that book. Gift a mom that book, because when you were talking about it in your community, I was just like, this woman, God is good. Like literally, this is what God wants women to hear. What God wants, not just women, everybody to hear. Like, a woman just gives birth and everybody just concentrating on the baby. Oh, do like this for the baby, do this, and you guys leave the woman out. You guys choke her. Like, there's this, she's not enjoying the bonding that she wants with the baby, right? So there's Omugo and there's everybody bringing their opinion, there's everybody bringing the tradition, everybody bringing different things. Like, partnership goes a long way, because as a man, you are able to protect your wife from these unsolicited opinions. Like, you guys should leave these people to make their mistakes. Leave them to get this child. They are the ones that God have given this child. So let them train the child in the way that the child will go. And it's literally, we know that most times they do it from a place of love and they want the support, but most times it's just like you're creating this toxic environment where the woman cannot really bond with her child. I love that you actually spoke to that. And please, if you're a man that is out, if you're listening to this replay or watching this video, please take care of your wife. Create the environment that will help her heal, because postpartum, like I said, is not just a the Omugo type that we know, that's just for, okay, maybe a couple of months and she's done, right? It's a whole long process till she is pregnant again.
Yeah.
You want her to be able to heal, not just physically, but you want her to heal emotionally, to heal spiritually. To It's okay to give her just time out, like, honey, just I
Yeah.
got this. I got this. Let me take care of this baby. So if the family members are not helping in that wise, then I think they should they should not just be in the house.
It was
So
Igala who said that one, or it wasn't me.
oh yeah,
Before they call village meeting on my head.
I'm I am brutal like that. Like I literally want people to wake up. I want men to wake up. I want,
Yeah. I think
like,
that sometimes, because when you're pregnant, everybody makes allowances for you. Well, everybody, every sane person, it's like,
mm,
oh, do you want to sit? Do you want to do this? But once the baby is gone, they think that, all of a sudden you're back to myself. I said to my husband, after my first, especially, and I am somebody who keeps fit, right?
mm,
I said I didn't feel like a human being until 6 months postpartum. That
mm,
was what I said after my first. I was waddling because I had a lot of pelvic girdle pain. I was still waddling. I couldn't stand up straight. My core was very weak. It was like I was collapsing on myself. What else? Of course, I had a long labor and a traumatic delivery, and I had stitches and tears and whatnot. I was saying to my husband that I felt like a grenade went off in my knickers. It was crazy, and I am somebody who keeps fit and I'm quite active and all of that. So if you can imagine how I struggled with all these things. So yes, you see me like I bounced back,
mm,
right? But I was
mm.
still dealing with all these things underneath the surface. So men especially, you can never understand, you can never fully appreciate what it is for a woman to go through all these things. So do your best to support her. If you think you're doing your best, do even more. Keep doing more. Don't feel like, oh, ever since she had the baby, she's been doing ABC. You can never fully appreciate what it is that a woman goes through, to bring life into this world. Ask her, honey, what do you need? How can I support you? How can I be of service today? What do you need? Are you happy? How is your mood? Are you well? Talk to her. How are you? She will say, I'm fine. No, really, how are you? How is your mood? How is your mental health? Ask these questions. Be supportive. Even if you're a man, if you think you're tired, then you can imagine how your wife is feeling, because she's carried this baby for 9 months. She's gone through the delivery process. She
It's
doesn't take a
nursing.
break. She's breastfeeding. She's recovering. I mean, it's a lot. You can never understand what it is for a woman to go through this. So even if you think you're doing your best, do more. Keep doing more.
Wow. Keep doing more. I really just we're going to take clips of this and put it out there so that people realize that postpartum recovery is not just for the woman. And I really want to get to that point where the women, the 6 months 6 weeks checkup is not just the woman that is going to the hospital. Please, women, learn to ask your husbands to follow, right? And learn to let them watch this video, let them know what to ask the doctor, let them know, there's this different confidence that you have when you are able. And we know that most times it might depends on the availability of the man and all of that. But if he can, as a woman, you should be able to ask, if you guys have a wonderful relationship, right? And ask for help, ask him to come along,
Yeah.
and let him be the one asking the doctor or telling the doctor, okay, can you help me check my wife for this is rectal, or help her, ask, just be around. That alone helps the woman's emotional health, and
Yeah.
it can really go a long way.
I
So
like I like that you've mentioned that the man should accompany the woman to the postnatal check, because I just want to throw this out there. Men, vasectomy is an option when it comes to contraception. Okay? Amen. Okay, I just
Dr.
throwing that out there.
Wande. goodness. I think we need to have another discussion about this contraception. Hey, that one is a whole gist for another day. Oh my, like I think that's another. It's part of the question that we should even ask, because
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
everybody's, I see a lot of people that say, vagina, this, everybody wants the woman to snap back and want to have her vagina to be okay and intact, so that the next thing, 6 weeks later, we're thinking of making love and all of these things. Please, while she's doing all of that, family planning, pills, and all of those things affect the woman too.
Yeah.
Talking about this, she's looking at her body in the mirror and she's wondering what in the world is happening here. She doesn't feel like she owns her body. So please, the men, this is part of the questions that we're going to be talking, that aids postpartum recovery. Contraceptive, ask your doctor if you can come for a consultation to go for that operation, so that the woman can breathe a little.
Yes, let her
Okay.
breathe, please. Take one for the team.
Yes, take one for the team. Yes, men, please take one for the team. And we're going to drill into this particular question some other time. Not
No
today.
problem.
That one is another talk. All right. So if there's any question, thank you so much, Annie. I think this is Fuluke. If you have any questions for Doctor, please feel free to reach out. Like let's chat here. I think we have, I don't know how many minutes we have left. Oh, okay. So we'll soon be rounding up. We'll soon be rounding up in like 2 minutes, so that we don't go off. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask Doc. She's here. We talked about her book earlier, After Birth. After this video, I'm sure she's going to drop it in the comment section, or you can just go check her the link in her bio and get the book. It's literally like what our community represents. We are breaking down these things. We're going to be talking about them. I'm someone that likes. I'm very practical when I like to break things down. We're going to be doing a lot of videos, and it's going to be app-based, web-based / app-based, so that women can have push notifications, so that there's time. She knows that there's time. This is time for meditation. This is time for moving around. So it's going to be really an interactive community. So I love that Dr. Phoebe has taken time to write it in a book, while we are going to be practicing it like real life. Want to share with you that I want to help you, want to walk this journey with you, and take you on this journey. And so because we know that it takes a lot to set it up. It takes a lot to bring specialists to this to the whole program. So we are doing it as it's a project, and we want to make a lot of women come on board. We want you to walk this journey. I know I put it as postpartum high blood pressure reversal, but literally it's about postpartum recovery. It's that place you want to be, it's that community you want to be, to help you. So can I ask a question for someone pregnant? Yes, please ask your question. Yeah, there's someone asked the question in the Q&A. Please ask a question. So that's what the community is about. So click the link in the bio so that you can know more about what to do. Okay. All right. Sweeten says, I think they should educate these African men at work, or go meet them in their comfort zone. They listen when someone else does the talking, because they don't understand when you tell or explain to them. I feel your pain, sis. Absolutely. That is. Doc, do you have something to say about that? Yeah.
Explain to them at home feels like you're nagging. I I think starting with taking them to your appointments, your hospital appointments, is a good start because then they're hearing from the professional, rather than their wife telling them this and that. There's some books for men talking about pregnancy. I'm struggling to remember what it's called now, but it's written from a man's point of view, so it's very, direct. This is what it
Hmm.
is. There's no mushy stuff. It's very straight to the point. So there are a few books like that talking about pregnancy, but targeted towards men. So if he would read something like that, it's something to get. Try to involve him. If you're watching a video about your pregnancy or whatever, just say, "Oh, I saw this video. Let's watch it together." Stuff like that. Just don't yap
Wisdom.
at him all
Just
the
use wisdom too,
time.
right? Yes.
Yeah, just use wisdom. But if you're single, maybe you should add this thing to your checklist before you get married, because it's
You
just
know.
easier when you're on the same page from
Oh
the
Lord.
get-go.
Oh Lord. Thank you so much. I feel like I have a soul sister in you. Like, I keep saying these things, and I tell single ladies a lot. I say these are the things that you need to watch out for. These are the questions you need to be asking. Because when push come to shove, you'll be surprised. Ask the man, can you do vaccine for me? What are you going to do for them? Because if it's not, you don't have to wait till you're pregnant before you start learning all these things. Learning from the stories of people will go a long way to help you. Okay. Sweetness says I'm 8 weeks postpartum and he went to the prenatal appointment, but now the baby is here.
Well, congratulations, sweetness. Congratulations on your
Congrats.
baby.
Congrats, Sweetness. Oh my God. So we are here with you. We are here with you, and really we want to be able to bring we want you to. I feel like I don't know how I can teach women to bring these men on board. How we can do
Mm.
what can we do to get these men um you know you know
Do
doing
you know,
this
I just
together.
I just want to say something, to that, because I think that open your mind if you're a spiritual person. So like me, I'm a spiritual person. I don't believe my help is coming from anybody. My help is coming from God. God can use anyone. And just open your mind. Don't put your gaze on a particular person. You'll be surprised where your help comes from. Like I had a baby, she's 10 months old now. And the places my help came from, I was shocked. The people that brought me food, the people that offered to look after my son if I went into hospital, things like that. So just open your mind, just pray, open your mind, and you'll be surprised.
Mm, open your mind. All right, doctor has said it. Says open your mind. Get a question from Luke. How can I avoid this pregnancy-induced high BP at the moment? Her BP is okay. What can she do? Maybe because she has had prior
Yeah.
so how
Yeah,
can
I think you might need to go back and watch the video. Maybe you joined a bit later because we talked about it's basically eating healthy and exercising. Now, when talking about eating healthy, you want to eat more fruits and vegetables, healthy proteins, less fats, and just keep moving. Any form of exercise that you enjoy whatsoever, try to be consistent.
So be consistent with your workouts, be accountable so that you are not you don't start today and finish and you're on and off like that. So you have to be accountable so that you stick to what you're. I believe so much in accountability. I believe that if you really want to make this work, if you want to be able to eat well and tell your coach that this is what you ate today, this is what you did today, being
Yeah,
accountable to someone really helps you a whole lot. So I recommend that. Please do so if you can. And yeah,
yeah,
that's once you eat healthy and you're not you're just take care of yourself, take care of your mind, take care of
yeah.
your spirit, take care of your movements, do what you can do and leave the rest. Let God
Yeah.
do what he can
I'll,
do.
I'll just add to that that oily fish is good for your cardiovascular health. So something like sardines, oily fish mackerel is good for you as well.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. I enjoyed the conversation today. We're hoping to
Yeah,
have you again inside,
excellent.
in the when we launch this
Definitely,
platform. We want to have you here again.
definitely,
So
definitely.
much, Dr. Phoebe. It was nice chatting with you.
Thank
Bye. Oh,
you.
someone
Oh,
said, Instagram is going to lock us out. So maybe
I'll
you
answer in
answer
the
the question.
comments. Yeah, I'll answer in the comments.
Yeah, answer
Okay.
please. So thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye.
Okay, bye.